recording is live. Happy International Women's Day. I have here with me Shinhwa. Shinhwa, say hello. Oh, I forgot. I'm not on push to talk. Or I am on push to talk. I'm just like talking to myself.
And I wasn't responding.
Yeah. I'm like, all right, Shinhwa. Now say hello. And you're just.
Hello.
Guys, this is Shinhwa. As you can see, Shinhwa is a very decorated player. She PvPs a lot, does a lot of in-game achievements. I
try.
Yeah, of course you try. You play a lot. I'm gonna turn off my push to talk. Give me one moment. All right, there I am, and you feel free to do it yourself as well. Actually, I don't know if you're allowed to.
I will be vaping, so you probably don't want that.
Well, as long as you're comfortable. This is okay. So I brought Shinhwa to this in-game house. It's one of those night elf houses that you kind of find in like this kind of looks like the inn in Silithus, right?
Yeah.
It's completely empty.
It like 100% looks like the inn in Silithus.
All right. So this would be a night elf inn, or no? This is like a night elf mini inn, I guess. No real seats though, unfortunately, but a very good RP location. So Shinhwa, you said you never RP'd in the game really, besides just minor stuff, right?
Yeah, that is correct.
I actually, as a little teaser, is I've taken some girls in RP dates in this game.
Whoa.
Yeah, a little spicy information.
I mean, I give you ice cream. Is that RP?
You do. Oh, I mean, a little bit. I would say it goes a little bit further, right? You have to like go on like a date or like, you know, talk a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I definitely tried to set up a date with somebody, and it like it didn't follow through. But like I've at least wanted to. But then I'm just like, this is stupid, this is lame. But then I totally only thought that after the fact that it didn't like work out, right? But besides that, I thought it'd be cute. Like, well, let's go on a little WoW picnic, and yeah.
Hey, Shinhwa, if they like you, they'll do it, right? So don't. It's just like in real life, right? So if you think something's stupid and the dating thing is whatever, right? And they'll react that same way if you meet that enthusiasm with such, you know. It's all good though. There are a lot of cool RP locations in the game. This is just the icebreaker though, Shinhwa, which is the reason why I brought you here was to answer just 3 big questions, right? 1, what is it like to game as a girl in WoW, kind of specifically, right? 2, how has it changed since when you were younger to now? And then 3, how can men kind of help out?
Okay, so first question, I already forgot. What was it? What's it like gaming?
What's it like gaming as a girl, right? It can be specifically WoW or just what's it like just being a girl in gaming, because there are a lot of guys, right?
But then you also have to, okay, so we'll just start about like the fact of like WoW. So when it comes to WoW, I assume every guy is married and has kids. That's just how I assume, especially with Classic, right? Because people who I barely know people besides me where this is like their first time playing Classic. Like for me, this is my first time playing Classic, so especially with being, you know, the biggest guild that I was in was Get Ephemeris. That was like known as like a dad guild. You know, everyone there was married, had kids. So I just like automatically assume every guy I meet is like married and has kids. I don't think it really affects me as being a girl. But it's like weird that, you know, there's other people that have like done high achievements, but like out of like the 48 Scarab Lords that I think we have, I think there's only two women, and it was me on Horde. I think it was another person on the Alliance side. I feel like a lot of women that do play are just like casual, and I'm definitely not a casual WoW gamer. Like maybe now I am, but at first, and plus, I just like achieving things, and I don't know if like most women are like that. And I don't know if you noticed or other people have noticed that have raided and played with me. I'm not your normal typical girl. I'm not like some e-gamer girl. I'm not like I actually know what I'm doing, and I know that kind of sounds sexist, but like sometimes people that play this game, especially that are girls, just play for their significant other. Like I play for me, right? I don't know how many women can actually say that, but I just kind of like automatically see, oh, they just play with their significant other. For me, like this is for me, and I don't think it's any different whether I have male parts or female parts. Like I play this game because that's what I like to do,
For
and
sure.
I don't think it's any different because I'm a girl. Did you get troll people? Like I now know who it is, but I would get what was they're like weird pickup lines, and I don't know if it's a pickup line. Someone traded me a wild heart and was like, for my wild heart for you. I got like 15 Valentine's Day candies from like people I don't know. And then I'm just like, why? Like, you know, or they'll like immediately log off or they do something like this. Like, they don't want to like try and like carry on a conversation. So it's like, are you trolling me or not? So, you know, like I told you, like I don't have a lot of girlfriends. A lot of my all of my friends are male because that's predominantly like that play this game, and they're like, I don't. They always tell me like, why do you even respond to these people? And I'm just like, you gotta be nice, right? Like I don't want to be known as like a mean person. And like sometimes like I'll have people message me and say like, hello beautiful, and I'm like, who the fuck are you? And they're like, wow, rude. Like, it's like I don't know what to say to you. I don't know who you are. Funny story. So I now know who Doodoo or slash Dodo is, and I had no idea who he was beforehand. And it was me, Exu, Epensy, and Krager, and we were going to do like the pirate rep farming thing.
Hmm.
And Dodo was like talking to me like he knew me, and I was like, I'm sorry, who are you? And he's like, wow, like how do I know who you are, but you don't know who I am? And I was like, have we ever raided together? Have we ever played together? I was like, how am I supposed to know who you are? And I kind of feel like that with everybody, like that messages me. It's like, I'm sorry, I don't know who you are. Like, how do you expect me to know you if you never like spent time together, done anything together? So it's weird because I get a lot of messages from people that I don't know. So anyone that's like watching this, please if you message me, state who you are if you want a response, because I'm not gonna know how to respond.
So it sounds like you not only get a lot of unsolicited attention, but it's also from people that are not quite within your own circle.
Exactly. Or sometimes there'll be times when I'll be like, "Oh, I'm sorry. Like, who are you again?" And they'll be like, "Oh, you don't know me. I'm not associated with any of your friends." And it's like, then why are you messaging me? Like, you know, and like, I'm not trying to be mean or rude, but it's just like, what 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 are your intentions of messaging me first, right? If it's just like a question about the game, like, yeah, sure, like, cool. But if it's like something random, like I don't know how to justify like responding to that or what they expect. Because, bro, I've told you, I'm like a helpless romantic. Like, I want nothing but love, and how cool would it be to like find someone on WoW and we could play together and all this stuff. But it's like we're also socially awkward as gamers.
What I'm hearing is that uh, a very normal response from someone who gets attention is to inquire like what's going on or like who am I speaking with, right? And for you, you're getting a lot of the attention because of either your character or your personality or who you are, right? And so like when I get attention from being a streamer or something, it kind of feels like I did something to receive that. You know what I'm saying? Like I picked an action. I'm out here spamming in trade chat, or I'm out here raid leading. But sometimes, if for you, it doesn't even feel like you did much to get this attention, right?
Yeah, no, I have no idea why. I remember there's this one person who messaged me, and they're like, every single time I see you, you have a different weapon that I know every warrior on the server would kill to have. Like, so my response is, "Thank you?" Question mark. I didn't, I didn't know what to say to this person. Like, you know, like I am known to be like a weapons collector. Like, it's just something that I like and want to have. Like the sword that I have. Like, how many hunters do you know that have it? right. But I did it for myself, and it makes me happy.
Just you're just always flexing in game, and people, you know, well, say Shinhwa is your power player, so there are many people who are not able to experience what you experience because you're a power player.
You think
Right.
so?
Rank 13, lots of T3, Ashbringer, right? For many people, they would say that you've completed the game.
There's still more that I want to do. You know, I still want to get my Thunder Fury. Actually, I don't even know what I want to do after that. But like, fish. But like, you're right. But like, I do like the GDK community, and like, even though we raid more than other guilds, sometimes we technically don't, right? We raid for 5 hours and then we clear it, when other guilds take 2 days and 6 hours and they can't even clear it, especially like Nax or whatever it may be. But I I kept thinking, I was like, do I quit the game or not? But like, there's still more things. Like, I'm still missing one piece of tier 3.
Mm-hmm.
So um
I think you've made a lot of meaning in the game for yourself, whether it's, you know, from like, whether it's apart from achievements or just hang out with the community, right? I do want to actually touch on something you said earlier, which is, so there are some girls, you know, in the game that play more as a casual role and supporting role in real life, right? So they'll play the game to hang out with their partner. Can you tell me more about like other women you've met in this game? Would you say that there are other power gamers like you, other power women on the server, or the women you meet on the server are more casual?
Definitely Crucifier is one of them. Like, she started the whole like real PvP thing. I met both Cruci and Blazin through PvP. I do think that's a big power play. I mean, come on, like, you're running around killing people. Like, what could be more powerful than that? And the thing is like, Cruci, she always wanted to like better herself. She always told me and asked me, she's like, will you come duel with me? Will you come duel with me? She's like, I don't know how to beat hunters. And I said, well, shit, Warlock shit on me all the time. I don't think I'm the best person that, you know, you need to be dueling with. Definitely her and Blazin. And like, even some of the stuff that I know in real life, like, they have their own business. Like, they are very strong, independent women. And
Mm-hmm.
I kind of think like maybe that's why we get along. Um, you know, the other female friend that I had, she ranked because her boyfriend was,
Mm-hmm.
and then after that, she kind of ventured off on that. But then, and like the other women that I really know, they just casually played. Um, some of the other ones that I experienced were didn't really know how to quote quote play their class. They were just going through the motions. For me, it's different. It's like, I'm looking up guides, I'm in different discords, like, I'm doing different sims, like, and I don't really know a lot of other women that did that. But then again, I also don't have a lot of women friends that do that. But just like hearing throughout, like, even when I was in Get a Friend List, we had married couples. So we would hear like, oh, I always get his buffs. I always do this for him. And it's just like, well, are you playing the game for yourself, or are you playing the game for him? So even though it was just like small little contacts that I had with those people, like with those different scenarios, like, it's still embedded in my mind, like, oh, are you playing for yourself, or are you playing for, you know, your significant other? And really, like, Blaze and Crucifier are like the only other two that I can like really mention that like play for themselves.
So you would say it's rare to meet another player like yourself who's self-driven and more intrinsically motivated.
Right. And I'm pretty sure there's plenty out there. It's just that I just personally don't know of any. Like, I don't know if it's by choice or not, but I definitely surround myself with men. I'm sorry, girls are bitches. Like, it's a
I
lot easier to have a company of men around me.
I think there are a lot of women that grow up navigating life this way. You're not the first person. You know, you know, this is a pretty popular trope for female gamers to kind of say. And what I'll also say is, what it sounds like is it's not easy meeting other women in the gaming field that are strong because you just don't bump into them a lot, and not a lot of them are broadcasting that they're a strong type of player in the first place, right?
Yeah, exactly. Or it's kind of like you don't meet like the independent one. They're usually partnered already, or they're doing stuff with their significant other. And like I don't even know if there is like an all girls like Discord for Fairbanks. I'm
There
early
is there
on
one?
it. There is. I'm early on it, but like sometimes we talk about it. We've posted selfies. Some people have posted like wedding pictures, kids, pets. Um,
Is there
so
anything going on for today?
I don't know because I rarely check it. Let's take a look real fast.
I assume they do a pretty strict enforcement for, like, there aren't just guys on there, right?
No, it's strictly all women.
That's good. You guys need your own space.
Doesn't look like anything's been posted for a while. But we have our own music. We have our Hungry channel where we post like food.
That's cool. Well, if you can, just send a message that on that server that all of you guys are awesome and that people deserve to recognize the accomplishments you make.
Oh, look at that! People are talking. They're talking about buying shoes.
Shoes are awesome. One of the few things I like to buy.
This is definitely not a conversation that I would be engaging in. But like the fact that we have a community like this, I think is great. But
Yeah.
then again, it's just like I rarely check it. It's just not something that I would look at. I look at the PvP channels more than anything. If anything, I posted a GIF in there about a panda slowly eating a tub of popcorn because someone's breaking brackets. Like that's my cup of tea, not buying shoes.
I think the buying shoes thing is very similar to just a guy posting sports thing, right? But what I'm also hearing is that for you to connect with other women, it's not as easy as it is for you to connect with the game first. And I don't think you're the only woman that describes this, right?
That is correct. Unlike the other like best friend that I had, who unfortunately doesn't play WoW anymore, our first connection was we talked about boys, right? Like, for, that was our main connection, and it's funny because like sometimes Chrissy and I would like talk about boys, but like that's like a 30-second conversation, right?
Well, what
But
I'm
other
also
than that,
hearing,
it's just game interaction.
what I'm also hearing, Shinhwa, is that because a majority of people you interact with are married, that you don't have that one of the very few axes to communicate with, right? When they're married, they don't talk about boys.
Exactly. Or if they already have kids, it's like, oh, your kid's cute. Like, glad you got that going for you.
Okay, so something that I'm learning that I didn't quite predict or know was that it's actually difficult for female gamers to connect with each other.
For me specifically, always growing up, I did not get along with other female gamers. But then again, it's because they were already partnered, right? So like I want to talk to you, but like let's say we're in the same guild or same community, or when I played the RuneScape, it's like, oh, that's my guy. Are you talking to him? Are y'all questing together? Are you just stay away from my man, right? So it's more of like it was like conflict of interest, or thinking like, or like it was like some competitive realm going on. Especially with like when I was playing RuneScape, like it's just like, oh, if someone's like partnered together or they're in a relationship together, like don't you dare ever talk to him. Or it was just like this like whole territorial thing. So like I told you, like now I just assume every guy that plays is married and has a kid. So like I don't try to venture off and like explore like, oh hey, you single? Like
What I'm hearing from you is that there's two axes that women have to fight or coordinate to kind of communicate with each other. One is the social dynamic, which is single versus taken, and then the areas between in which men kind of, territorially speaking or, relationship speaking. And then another one is that you mentioned earlier, which is how serious do you take the game? Right? So there's actually two really big axes for you. There's, can we socially get along? Are you taken? Are you not taken? How do we view men with, like within each other, right? Am I allowed to talk to your partner or interact with your partner in certain ways? And
Right,
then
exactly.
another one is, because you actually stress this, like, do you take the game seriously? I take the game very seriously. You don't. Okay, so we're already on different axes right there.
Are you here to play for yourself? Like, like everything that I've done, like, was for myself, my own self accomplishments. Like, I don't know a lot of women that are out there. Like I told you, I feel like a lot of them are supportive players, and I could be completely wrong. There's other people where, you know, maybe their husband or significant other is like supporting them, right?
I was just
But like,
thinking the same, Shinhwa. Like, if the roles were
right,
reversed, it's rare for a man to kind of go into a woman's hobby and that hobby's gaming, right? There are occasions where a man will support or even be involved with a woman's hobby, but for that to be gaming, right? That'd be so rare.
I even asked my friend the other day, and I was like, would a man feel less of a man if his girl was better than him, right?
Oh, in
I
a
can't remember
game?
what we're talking about. Yeah, especially in a game. I was like, whether it was like a FPS or I think it was like even League of Legends or something like that. I was like, can you imagine? I was like, if your girlfriend was like better than you, was like ranked higher than you, and he was just like, why not? And he's like, that's badass. And I was just like, huh.
That seems like a modern response, right? Because the typical thing you're thinking of is this is very similar to financial success, right?
Yes, in some sort of way, yeah, I
Well,
would
I mean,
agree. I don't know, and like, I don't know how you could compare that, especially like in WoW, because that's predominantly the game that I play.
well, what I would
But
say is, I mean, as we get more modern, this is less threatening, but men in general are threatened by a woman who has a higher earning or career than themselves, right?
right,
Right, and so
I
you're kind of saying that if they were to meet a woman that's just much more talented than them in the gaming field, how would they feel, right?
right. How would you feel if you made a rogue and like the
My
girl that
girlfriend
you
was
like,
parsing higher.
yeah, or like
Well,
she's known to be the best rogue on the server or anything like that?
that wouldn't hurt me. I'd find that nice. I think what would get me more personally is either a more developed career outside of this, right? Like in my real life dating, right? Like I have a hard time seeing myself dating a doctor or lawyer right now, right? Because of where I'm at in my life. But imagine if they were like a raid leader, right? They were a better community organizer, raid leader. That'd be a much more direct. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
How would I feel about that? I would feel challenged, but also very attracted. Because for me, I like to learn from other people when it comes to these types of things, right? I don't think I get intimidated by women in that aspect, but I can easily see. I mean, Shinwa, you're a raid leader. How many female raid leaders are there?
I'm not quite sure. There's gotta be a handful, right?
Shinwa, I don't think I've ever been to one of your raids.
Well, first of all, I read at night. You don't.
What is it like being a female raid leader?
Um, honestly, it doesn't matter. Like, I don't really think it. I still think people listen. I don't think they don't listen because I'm a female by any means. If anything, I feel like they might be more intuitive. I notice that they tend to have more manners. Like, they always say thank you at the end of the raid, and you rarely hear that. So, people always say like, "Oh, your raids are always fun," and I'm just like, "Well, I'm not. I don't try to make it fun, right? I'm just trying to be efficient at this
Mm-hmm.
point." So, but it is nice to hear things like that that are always like, "Oh, like there's this one last week. I do this raid called the trifecta. So I do Oni, ZG, and then AQ20. back to back, and I canceled it because I noticed that someone had posted something in Forbes that wasn't a raid leader, and then I logged in and there was like 3 other raids being hosted, and someone messaged me. They're like, "Oh, are you doing invites?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm actually canceling it, but you should go to X, Y, and Z's raid." And they're like, "Oh, but like we like your raids better," and like
Mm-hmm.
that's always like nice to hear. I'm
Mm-hmm.
pretty sure other people, like other raid leaders, get that too. But like the only thing I've really noticed the difference between like when I run raids and other people do it is like they just tend to be nicer. Actually,
So what I'm hearing is there's really no difference, and our community actually uh, is quite good at interfacing with the female raid leader.
I believe so. Yes.
Okay,
I
that's
mean,
good news.
we also there's plenty of I mean, I know there's at least 2 guilds that have female GMs. One's Casual Core and the other one's Sheeps.
I didn't know that.
And so yeah,
That's
and
awesome.
yeah. So and I can even imagine, I am aware that like both of them like are married, and I don't know if they have kids or anything like that, or at least the one for Casual Core is. And like when I found that out, I was like, that's awesome. I don't know if they actually raid lead, but like to know that like you have women raid leaders, excuse me, GMs, and people join. They don't care if like you're female or not. The whole thing about me is like, is are you competent enough? I don't think it really matters like if you're a girl or not. There's some times when like Tay told me the other day, and he's like, "You're ready to read league next," and I said, "You're out of your fucking mind." I don't know any other class, right? So I would never ever put myself in a position to raid league Nax or even AK40. Like I just do small things. Even with BWL, that's something that Pyro and I or Deathguard and I will like do together. I haven't soloed that one. um I've been told that they're like, "Oh, you can totally do it," and I was just like, I'm not comfortable doing it. So there is also like that comfort level. So that's why I do like the small things like MCs easy, your 20 mans. Like I feel like a lot of people can say like anybody can do it. Anybody can do it if it's smooth, right? It's when things start like spiraling down is when it gets hard.
Yeah,
So
yeah, of
um
course.
I think it's like, I don't think that has to do with like being a male or female, but it's like knowing how to control what's happening during the time. Like,
Yeah,
people are dying, we're wiping over stupid things. Are you going to blame someone? Are you going to start yelling? Are you going to call everyone a papega? Like, it's.
and then you have to also identify correctly how to approach or fix these things, right, in real time, because some things are there's a lot of moving parts. Shimon, you mentioned something about how they don't care what your gender is as long as you're competent, right? This is something that you said, and this might be an effect of gaming, right? Because with gaming, we're very result oriented, right? We get through the raid; it doesn't matter who leads it, right? I do want to kind of reference though, if I'm remembering this correctly, in real life you used to work on a golf course,
I used to work in the club industry, yeah.
the club industry. Okay, so not a golf course, but like late night clubs, right?
No, no, no. You had it right the first, like country clubs. So yes.
Okay, so okay, um, there must be a lot of sexism there.
Yes and no. I predominantly like worked like in the food and beverage departments, so it was like, did you like your food or not? But we still had things where like the men's 19th hole, women were not allowed. I was the only reason I was allowed to go in there was because I was a manager. But that was like the only sexist thing that I encountered, and honestly, it didn't really. I would say it didn't bother me because like that was just the norm in that industry. So I can't. I don't. I don't know how I can like tie that in with like gaming, but like that was just how it is. Like it's country clubs are old money. The men's 19th hole, literally no women allowed, men only. And some clubs would start making a ladies' locker room, and obviously like no men were allowed in there. But that was just like the normal, and I was okay with it. Like the club was the second home for a lot of people, and sometimes guys just want to get away.
Hmm. Yeah, it's hard to tie those two together. I see what you're saying, how um, the dynamic and the culture is a lot more suitable and acceptable when you kind of just, it wasn't like you were trying to become a higher up in that club and like own a piece of that club or whatever, right? You were just an employee, and you didn't feel like you were treated less because you're a woman.
No, definitely not.
For sure, for sure. I guess the way we'd have to tie it back is within WoW, there's no limitation, right? And the limitation you experience in real life didn't even bother you. It was very acceptable.
For that aspect, yes. You know, it'd be different. It's like, oh, you could only vote if you were a man, or you could only do this if you're a man. But this is just like a men's only area. I think that's a little different. I don't really want to say that's sexist. I mean, but I also made a sexist comment earlier, like, oh, I'm a girl, I'm derp, I don't know how to play my class. I've
No, I
definitely met a
think,
lot of those.
yeah, I understand what you're saying. I think you're just highlighting a very interesting part, which is because it's only one section and you're fine with that area of life being okay, that like you worked there, but as you said, you can still vote. There are other industries if you wanted to move upwards in management or make more money, right? It's not, while it is harder, that's not something you're worried about, right?
And the thing is like no women were allowed. So it's not just like women members weren't allowed. It's female employees. Like women were just not allowed. That's to me again. Like I think that's different. It's not like you are promoting this is where we hire hot girls only, and only the hot girls work at in the 19th hole. It's just like no women in general were allowed. And again, if I was going in there into the 19th hole, it was to either bring in more liquor or whatever it may be, but like no women. And it wasn't just like I told you, it's different. It wasn't just excluding members or employees. It was just whole women in general. And like I don't know, some people would take more offense to that opposed to not, but I like that idea way better than my husband's going into the 19th hole where only like female employees are allowed, but like female members are. Like, what's going on in there that I can't go in there? So that I see it differently when it comes to that aspect.
Yeah, you almost drew a parallel to how there's a female locker room, right? You almost make it seem
Exactly.
that it's and we earlier just talked about a gender locked Discord, right? There's sometimes where these places need to be gender locked and it's okay. And I think when I drew that parallel, I didn't realize how nuanced it would be, right? And how acceptable it was to you, because it didn't really matter. There are a lot of other ways you can navigate life and move upwards, and you're fine with that partition.
Right, and especially like because it's not in WoW. It's not like there's a section in WoW. It's where like women only, right? Or your character has to be a female or male only to go to this part of town. It's not like that. This is something that we as a community, like within our server, thought we should. It's something that we should have, and I think it's great.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, wouldn't you say it's still a very large division? I like that WoW is more gender balanced, but I mean, Shinhwa, I came from a background where it's like 90-10, right? 9-1. I guess we come down to our last question, because we kind of described like what it's like to be a woman in the gaming industry, or not the gaming industry, but like playing. We didn't really highlight too much about how it's changed, but I think we know it's how it's more modern and it's a little bit better. Is there anything men can do to, I guess, help women in gaming, or like make the safe better, make the space better?
Even though people say it's just a game, it's online, like there's still people, like we're still people behind our characters, right? um when I was interested in someone, I kept thinking like all they saw was like they just see this hunter, they just see this gear report. It's like I'm a person behind all of this, right? Like I don't want someone to like just, even though it's over like the game, it's like I wanted more interaction, like get to know me. Don't just be like, what's that thing? It's like, hey, nice shoes, like wanna fuck type of thing. Don't do that. Like if there's someone that you're genuinely interested in, like get to know them, talk to them, ask them if they want to do something together. Like if you want to hit up Crucifier. You know, she really likes PvP. Ask her, hey, do you want to PvP sometime? Don't just say nice you just wanna fuck. Not that anyone's done that before, I don't think so. But um you know, and be respectful. Like, you have a significant other, then you need to stick with your significant other. Don't be trying to get some action over some pixels over the internet. You know, like, I've definitely seen some very flirtatious men that I know that are married, have kids. Like, whether it's online or not, like, be respectful of like your partner, you know, respect the person that you're trying to talk to. Don't be a troll all the time, because again, this is a video game and I know we're all socially awkward, but like, especially in the time of like COVID, but like, just don't be weird. Like, I don't know how to explain that. And you know, like, treat everyone equally the same. I don't really think I can tell guys anything or give them any advice besides like, don't be weird, because I've definitely got some weird messages and I don't know like how to respond to it.
Yeah, I just need you to expand more on what do you mean by don't be weird.
I
Because
guess if you're gonna contact somebody, and it's not just like females, right? Or I don't know if it is just a female psyche or if it's just my Shinhwa psyche, but like, don't, I guess, message someone with the purpose, right? Um, that's just me. If you want to message me and say, "Oh, like, cool this, cool like whatever," it's like, "Oh, it's like, thank you." But then I don't know how to carry on the conversation after that, and I feel like maybe that person doesn't either. Um, I do get like a lot of like unsolicited, unwanted messages. For the longest time, I used to be on D&D all the time, just so like I didn't have to interact with people because I didn't know what to say. I really don't know how else to like expand on that. Um,
I'm trying to sit with it and understand it. Give me a moment. You mentioned
oh,
honesty, respect. Sorry, what was that?
oh no, I was gonna say there's an example. Well, I now know who it is, but remember on my birthday, you told everyone to like, oh, whisper Shinhwa, tell her happy birthday. I had someone whisper me happy birthday, I'm in love with you, and then he immediately logged out. Like, first of all, I was like, I didn't know how to respond to that. And then they immediately logged out. Like, to me, that's trolling. Like, what was the point in you doing that, right? It's either you were admitting something, like you were confessing your love, or you just like wanted to troll. And like, I guess, sure, there's trolls out there, but now I'm thinking, oh, there's someone out there, and like, oh, maybe they're confessing, right? And I couldn't even say anything. I couldn't even do anything. They mean logged out. I guess if you want to interact with someone, be respectful of their time. If you're just trolling, and at that point, like, then I kind of feel bad. I was like, oh, I didn't even get a chance to like respond to this person, but it was just it's a harmless troll. I now know who it is. He's actually confessed and has been like the troll of like 5 different interactions that I've had with people, and found out that it was all him. So, regardless of what it may be, like, you know, it makes me feel bad sometimes, right? Like, in
Makes you
some
feel bad.
sort of
Why?
way. Just because, like, if you don't respond, like, I feel like you didn't give that person closure, and at the same time, it's almost like rejection because you didn't get a response from a person. That's kind of how I see it. Like, if you
You
did
feel
not give them the
obligated.
time, exactly. It's like you did it to get a reaction, right? That's how I feel sometimes. If you interact with someone, it's to get a response or a reaction back. And I feel like when I was given the opportunity to do that, like, I feel bad. But then at the same time, it's like, well, they logged out, right? And now it's just like the spin cycle of like, do I care what they say, or do I just like completely ignore it? So at this point, I just now ignore all messages, and now I feel bad because like this person now like ruined an opportunity for someone who might actually be confessing something, right? And I don't even know because I didn't give him the time or chance because someone else was trolling.
We mentioned unwanted attention earlier, and unsolicited attention, right? And unknown attention. What I'm also hearing is sometimes you feel like you don't get enough space.
Um, yes and no. There have been times where I've definitely hidden on BNet and Discord, and like I told you, I used to, go on Do Not Disturb. But also, I don't know if that has to do with me being a girl. I don't know if it has to do with me and my achievements in the game. Sometimes people are just mean and rude. I'm pretty sure you get that a lot too, like being a streamer. But it's just like be respectful of other people. Like, do you want someone like messaging you random stuff that doesn't apply to anything? Or
Shinwa, what I'll tell you is, as a streamer, I don't get a lot of unsolicited messages. I do get a couple, short compliments. I have a Thunder Fury. People walk by, and I'll get the odd remark. But what it sounds like is, you get extra attention, and you're not even a streamer, right? You get as much or more attention than I do, and I'm a streamer,
somewhat, yes.
right?
But
So,
like you can sometimes you can like control it. Like I play again late at night. Um, when I first started getting into the GDKP scene, I would just get random whispers like during the raid about like random anything, and like I just never knew how to respond, and I would just say LOL or kick W, where my response is back. Um, but and at the same time, it's like, are you trying to use this as a gateway to talk to me? Or I don't know. There's like kind of like no follow through, and it's very confusing sometimes, especially when like you're someone like me, like you do want companionship, right? So it's like, oh, like could this be the beginning of something? And then it's like, oh, but do I want to start with something with someone who like doesn't know how to carry on a conversation, or especially like with like COVID going on, like that's the only human like interaction that we get. So
mhm.
um yeah, it when I say it's unwanted is when you can't carry on the conversation or there is no point to starting a conversation, right? If you're messaging me because you need help with something or you have 100 questions, yeah, I'll go for it. But when it's just like random things, which I don't get anymore quite often, and I think it's now more because like I'm raid leading. I think people are being more respectful. Like this person's raid leading, like I'm not going to be messaging them and ask them a stupid question in the middle of a raid. Um, but I haven't gotten any in a while, which is good.
Mhm. It sounds like, in a similar way where people seek my attention, right? You're sought after for female attention, right? Like people seek you for that attention in response, and it's tiring you out because at one point you think it's genuine and you want to make a connection, but then at another point, many of them fail to have any deeper conversation, right? Once they get your attention, that's all they needed.
Right, exactly. So it's like it's like a game within a game to them sometimes, and that's why like I just want to tell guys there, like there is a human being behind this torn hunter. Like there's a gene, right? I'm not just Shinhwa, so
Yeah,
just
that
keep that in
sucks.
mind.
That sucks that like once you respond or something, then they don't really, they treat you like almost like a NPC in a way, right?
Or like they've won the game, they've conquered it, or whatever it may be. It's like, oh, what's the thing when they always say like they chase you until like they get you or something? I don't even. I think I totally butchered that saying, but there's always like the saying like guys like to chase women until like they finally like give in, and then it's just like a game to them. And I don't know if that's like the way it's the same way that they think when like they message me.
Do you think married women are unable to relate to this?
Mm, no. I think unless like it's established and like it's known that they are with someone, I think any guy will hit on any girl, whether it's in game or in real life, right?
Mm-hmm.
Until they see that ring on somebody or they know, like if they find someone attractive or they see something they like we go for it, right? That's just like our human instinct. But I would definitely fish for things like, is this person single before I go hit on them, or are they an appropriate age before I hit on them? Like these things that you slowly have to like find out by like hanging out with someone or just talking to them, right?
Honesty, respect, and then authenticity. I guess that's just honesty, right? So what it sounds like is just I'd like to be talked to as if I were another human most of the time, right? Don't want to be
Right.
treated as a girl. Just want to be treated as another person.
Like, 'cause there's no point in telling lies or, like you said, like not being honest. Like, because like the truth always comes out, right? It's a lie because like lies exist because they get found out. That's why it's called a lie. So just don't lie. Be honest. Be faithful. Words of advice to men, to women, that all women want in their men.
It's interesting to me that this is the core advice. I can't disagree with it. It surprises me that this is it. It's just communicate with more respect and honesty, and try not to just troll women endlessly.
I mean, what does it do for you at the end of the day, right?
Well, what it does is it gets them female attention, which many people find hard to get, right?
It could be the social awkwardness aspect of all of us that we all have, or in the time of COVID, just like the person that I found that was trolling me, like like they have a significant other, and it's like, then why are you doing these things? Like, why are you trying to get my attention? And then to find out it's a troll, because I had no idea who this person was. They were always on bank alts and whatever it may be. At the end of the day, like I'm not mad, but I'm just trying to understand, like, what was the point of you doing all of this? Like, why waste my time and your time, and then to find out that you have someone. Like, I don't think it's fair for you to be doing that to your significant other.
I feel like
Please don't waste my time.
you've highlighted the story or this type of story more than once, so that it's either like very impactful or it's happened to you more than one time.
That's definitely happened to me more than one time.
Mhm. This isn't just some story. This is just the theme of respectfulness, honesty. Just you meet a lot of disingenuous people in your messages, is what it sounds like.
Yes, and again, like I told you, I don't know the whole story, but it's more along the lines of, please be respectful of my time. Why are you messaging me? What's the point of you messaging me? And
Well, I mean, they want to
I
get to
don't.
know you, Shinhwa, right? Do I need a point to just say like, "Hey, I like your gear. What do you want from me? I'm not gonna give you sex, man. I was just looking at your hunter, and I was saying your hunter was cool. That's it."
You want feet pics? Is that what you want now?
There's a very delicate line. It was what it sounds like. It's, you say a nice thing, cool. You say another nice thing, you're like, what do you want? You can only say
Right?
so many
Maybe
nice
I'm the
things.
weird one. Yeah, maybe I'm the weird one, and I don't know how to interact with other people.
Well, people come up to me, say nice Thunderfury or whatever, right? But then they go up to me and then they're like, oh, but your parse is so shit, right? Like, I looked up all your parses, like, I would do so, like, and then after a while, you just ignore them, right? You're just like, okay, this person's talking to me from a very specific angle of ego or jealousy, and what I hear from you is like, a lot of people reach out to you, and you're questioning their intention a lot.
100% all the time. It's
Right.
just like, and then part of me is just like, if it's something that you really want, like, go get it. Like, I know there's like different steps, and like, I guess this is the only example that I have, but I'm so like, if you are a hunter and you want Thunderfury, you think any guild out there is going to give it to you? No, right? So fucking go to GDQPs and get it yourself, right? Like, people like, and it does kind of like irk me, like, because I've gotten like messages when people are like, especially like in battlegrounds when they're on different servers, they're like, "Oh, you're just a meme." They're like, "You're a Tauren, you're a hunter, you're like, you have Ashbringer." And it's just like, why are you raining on my parade, dude? Like, is it hurting you?
Oh, people
Like,
love to hate. Yeah, people love to hate.
they're like, "Oh, look at this person, they have their own guild." I was like, then make your own guild. Like,
You're just thinking
why?
ahead, Shinhwa, for TPC. Let's be real. No, people just love to hate. And what I learned, a great thing to kind of understand hate is the reason people hate on stuff is because you did something that they could do, but they're not doing it.
Or
Like they
right, or
could.
with like when, like even like when all of us got scare lords, like I literally put my blood, sweat, and tears into getting this, and like when for people to be like, "Oh, there's more scare lords than there are mounts," and I was like, "But did you put in the time and the effort? Did you have a community of people that work together to help you get this achievement?" It's just
No, they want to make an
like
excuse.
right,
They want to hate.
like I don't get it, or
It
like
protects their
people.
ego. It protects them.
Well, it's protecting their small pee bro. That's what it's doing.
Well, that's what ego is, right? You want to. If you had a comfortable ego, you'd be like, "That's what I have, and I'm using it as best as I can," right? There's no shame in what is, right? It is what it is. That's like an important lesson I've learned. You can only be what you are, right? And like how you handle that, that's your own journey. But what it sounds like is a lot of people are protecting their ego and also masking their intention with you, right?
It's okay. And surprisingly enough, there's a lot of people who don't know that I'm a girl. I get sir all the time.
For sure, for sure. This was really informative, Shinwa. I didn't really think about how much, because as a streamer, right, I do get messages, but not the same types of messages, and not the same types of stories you have, right? Where I have to figure out why. I know why people are messaging me. It's very easy. It's an item I have. It's a run they want. It's they want my items or gold, right? As a man, it's always the same thing. They want my money, or they want whatever what I can provide for them, right?
Yeah, there was one time someone messaged me and they're like, "Yo, I heard that um you have a simp and someone's resing bindings for you." And I said, "Well, this is the first time I've heard of this." And I was like, "Who's simping me?" Right? And they're like, "Oh, it's just someone in my guild told me this." And I feel like at this point I'm like now butchering the conversation.
But it's
But
some sort of rumor that you heard, and you're just like, "What the fuck?"
right, and I was just like,
Okay.
well, I haven't even heard of this rumor, right? And then
Okay.
they're like, they're, and I was like, no one's simping. And they're like, "Oh, because he's like, good, because you'd have to be really stupid to like do that or to be a simp." And he's like, "Oh, I bet you're a girl and you're Asian." And like, I was like, what? I was like, okay, I was like, at this point, I was like, what is the point of this conversation? Right? Like, why did you message me this? Like, did you message me to confirm or deny that someone is resing bindings for me or not? And then why would you continue to carry on the conversation of, "Oh, well, now I bet you're a girl, and now I bet you're Asian on top of that." And I was like, what was the point of this conversation?
Why did he do that?
I don't
He's
know.
hating. He's hating. No, he's hating. It's because as he finds out more about the story, he still has to hate. You'd have
Right
to be.
after I told him like it's false, I was like, no one's resing bindings for me. Like that's not a thing. But luckily, I don't get those kind of messages anywhere. I also do think it's because like I am playing a lot less, so
I think when the Burning Crusade becomes active again, you'll find a lot of these similar problems. And I'm actually so curious if I need to talk to more women about this Axis thing, about how, because you're more of a power player, right? And so you're more in the eyes of others, right? People know you in the public sphere, but then you're not known as someone who's in a relationship. So on that axis, the women who are in relationships, like if I were to speak to Tyranny about this, she would not have a similar experience to you, right? She freely describes herself as a woman to other people, right? While there are other women who would more likely mask it if they were single and not married, right?
Right. I don't think. I don't know if it has to do with like the attention or not. I mean, there's plenty of times when like I find out that people are girls, and like Chubzilla. I had no idea she was a girl. I thought Chubzilla was a guy
I had no
until
idea.
I was raiding with her.
It's actually more rare. Would you say that there's no woman on our server that's bragging about being a woman, right?
No, I don't think so.
Not the way that people would simp for. You get what I'm saying? Like, I don't think this is a
Yeah.
thing. I don't think this is really. I mean, I've seen it on Twitch, but not server side. I've seen it on Twitch side, right? Where like the community, quote unquote, simps for a female streamer because obviously they're very good at building community, right? There's some actual secret sauce to them. They're a good streamer. But then on the other hand, there's like auxiliary things, right? Like where they are tightly knit with their community off stream. They're very attractive. They're really charismatic, right? But I've never seen it on Fairbanks from the server side. You get what I'm saying?
No, I haven't. And like a lot of the way like I found out girls were just again raiding with them, PvPing with them, because like these are things where you actively have to like communicate with each other, right? And at this point, like if you say you're a girl and you don't talk, they just assume you're a guy, or
Mm-hmm.
the excuse of it's 2021, who doesn't have a mic, or maybe some just people aren't like comfortable playing and talking to each other. But then everyone's like, oh come on, this is like the biggest MMO out there, right? But to each their own. I don't
Mm-hmm.
think there's any active women that are like, I'm a girl, give me gold. I will send you bathwater for gold. Like, that's not a thing. We all joke about like feet pics, but like I said, like I don't see
No,
any
I don't see it.
girls striving for attention on our server by any means.
No, maybe phase one of like a very, 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 very tiny minority, but no, the cost of being a girl is very high, is what it sounds like. You're not bragging about it by any means.
No, I honestly wish I was getting gold
Yeah,
or whatever. Maybe I get absolutely nothing.
you're like, don't give me these whispers. Give me gold. Okay, these whispers don't buy Thunder Fairy. All right. If you really like me, buy my bindings.
And I've gotten gifts, but obviously they were like thoughtful gifts. It wasn't like oh, I'm trying to buy your love or anything like that.
Yeah,
It
and you
was
don't
they
even
were
want that
very
really.
no, these were very thoughtful like gifts that people have like given me over time, and like I am now friends with them, and like we've built and established like a relationship with each other. But it's never a no. I don't want to be simped, I guess. The funny thing is, I didn't even know what simp was until last year
Yeah,
when
look
we
it
were
up.
PvPing. We were PvPing, and they were talking about simping, and I said, "What is
What is
like
simping?
simping?"
Well, a simp, Shinhwa, and you're like, oh.
Yep, I had to have the PvP guys like explain to me what a simp was, and I said, "Oh, huh." It is funny though, because my guild message does say, "Have you simped Shinhwa today?"
How many people are in this guild besides yourself?
I would
handful?
say actively at least 20.
What? This is so big.
There's 20. There's 33 members in the guild, and obviously like 8 of them are mine.
Yeah, but your guild doesn't do anything. It's not like raiding. It's not like you give your guild members something. It's just Shinhwa.
They just have the guild. Totally just logged out. I don't know how. I was like actively in the game looking at the guild tab. And it locked me out.
What?
Yeah, I was literally looking at the guild. The guild.
You're still here with me. You made it sound like you were in the inn and you like logged out instantly.
Oh.
Well, I don't know how many people are in the Verozone Guild. I don't keep track of that.
It's actually funny. So my friend messaged me in Discord and said, "Help." I said, "What's wrong?" And he said, "Someone's messaging me thinking of you." And I said, "What?" And it was because his tune was in
The Shinhwa
Guild
Guild.
Shinhwa.
Yeah.
Yep. And then he literally was screenshotting me, and he asked the guy, he's like, "Who do you think this is?" And he was like, "Is this not Shinhwa?" And he goes, "No."
No. That's great. That's great.
So I thought that was very funny. I did tell some people, it's like, if you join Shinhwa, you might get
Hey,
Tim.
Shinhwa. PvP. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
No.
Put on your mount speed. Put on your mount speed.
Ooh.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Is it 2 rogues? Is it 3 rogues?
Do you see what I'm saying? There's 5. This is a party of 5.
On Earth?
This is more than 5.
I see 4.
Shinhwa, there's so many people here.
Oh my. Oh, and a hunter? What do we do?
We have to murder all of them. We have to murder the leader.
Oh my, okay. We might get murdered here.
Oh, 100% doubt it.
Just kill them all. Oh no, one's getting away.
One's getting away. I love how he doesn't even stealth. He doesn't even stealth. He just positions himself.
I don't have enough energy.
We can't see. We'll be hide behind this tree. That's hilarious.
And this is a good end to the video. We just killed a huge botting farm. Like they're all probably
7? I'm counting 7 bodies.
like Shinhwa, they're all under geared and all following one person. They're all gonna get botted. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We had to kill him. We had no choice.
Oh, I might. I might Ashbringer on the entire time.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your time with me and telling you revealed a lot of stuff to me. Thank you.
You're welcome. I hope people stay and watch your video.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to just put this long form and then just kind of put bookmarks or you know, chapters.